Good afternoon. Welcome to Global Tea Break. Just getting my tea in here. Hello. Happy Thursday. Katie's first in today. Hi, Chloe, as well. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. I'm just going to put a little note here. So, all right. What on earth do you mean, Katie? I'm just going to pin this little comment here so we know what we're talking about today. Oh, okay, Katie's got hot chocolate. She wrote, I've got hot, and I didn't know what that meant, so I've got hot chocolate, which is much, much better. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I've got my little mug today, my lovely one that was a gift from Lizzie Lockhart, my lovely A. Fantastic. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for coming along. It is my film and TV arts week this week, where the are we've just got to see, and I think I've done these for nearly a month now. In fact, possibly more than a month. So, and I'm thinking now, because I've done every single day, I might end up taking one day off a week. I might try to do a Sunday or something. But whatever. Well, I'll let you know about that towards the end of the week. Well, Jenna is here, so I'm going to invite her on now. Where are we? So this is the fabulous star of stage and screen, Ms. Jenna Boyd. Jenna, hopefully, fingers crossed. We had a few technical difficulties this morning. She's there!
Hello, I'm with my dog.
Hello, darling.
Apparently wants to be in the
with your
thing.
dog. Fantastic. Is that Spoonsy?
That is Spoonsy. I've got Spoonsy there and Tinker Wiener. My other one is sat next to
Not at all show person dogs, are they?
No, look, so let me show you. That's Tinker
Oh, that's your new little pup.
Wiener. That's Spoonsy Woo.
That's Spoonsy Woo. And so I'm really going to have to embarrass you now. Why is he called Spoonsy?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is sadly a true story. When I met my now husband, we must have been together about 3 months. We were lying in bed on Sunday morning, as you do, and I turned to him and said, "Babe, who's that singer who sings about the shoes? You know, the rapper guy, the Spoonsy guy?" And he went quiet for a minute and went, "Oh my God, do you mean Stormzy?" I said, "Yes, that's Stormzy." Anyway, I can't remember why I was even thinking about Stormzy. But I called him Spoonsy, and then I said, "I want to get a dog," months later, and Sam was like, "Only if we called him Spoonsy." I was like, "No, that's mortifying." But nevertheless,
that is
Spoonsy it is, and I can't imagine him being named anything else.
Amazing, amazing. So, Jenna, thank you for joining me today. So, you know, right. Look at your lovely little mug. This is my
coffee time.
Yay! It's my lovely one. Coffee high five. So, yeah, you're a West End performer, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I was.
Until a couple of weeks ago. You will be again.
And I will be again.
You will be again. And so I've seen you in a variety of different things. Most recently, Come From Away, which we'll chat about in a minute. But I kind of wanted to start, and I was chatting with Dale the other day about choreography and how we got into it. And I kind of wanted to know how you got into being in musical theatre into the West End, because what made you want to do it to start with?
What made me want to be an actor? To start with, well, this is a very quick and boring answer, unfortunately. I was just born that way. It's like I've said it before, it's like a disease. There's some people get cured from, it's like childhood asthma. So I also have asthma, and a lot of people grow out of asthma, like they grow out of wanting to be an actor. And unfortunately, I still take my inhaler, and I still have the need to be an actor. So yeah, it's very boring.
No, I think that's the best answer possible, actually. It's in you. Absolutely, it's part of you. So, to train, so in order to be a West End performer, I mean, there are a whole variety of different drama schools you can go to, and it's a long, intense process, isn't it? It's you went to GSA.
Yeah, I did. I went to GSA for 3 years, which was fantastic. Made some amazing friends there, learned a lot. But I have to be honest, I had been training to be an actor my whole life. I did. Amdram, which is where I truly believe I got most of my training from. All my most important lessons I learned from doing shows, constantly being on stage 3-4 times a year, always in rehearsals on a Thursday night or a Saturday morning or a Sunday afternoon. That's where I believe that I really did learn my craft. And then I went to drama school and we learned quite specific techniques, but I don't think the 3 years there ever matched what I'd already learned from a bunch of ex-professionals back home.
Amazing. And you told me a great story about when you were little and you went to a pantomime.
Oh, well, so yeah, I say I'm born like this. I've never wanted to do anything else. But my mum, may she rest in peace, if she was alive, she'd muscle in here and tell you that when I was 18 months old, so I'm a summer baby, so Christmas after I was born, she took me to see a panto at the then Floral Hall in Southport. I think it's called the Southport Theatre now. Anyway, apparently we went to watch it. We came out of the theatre and I looked at her and said, "Mummy, when I grow up, I'm going to be a princess in a pantomime." Well, obviously that didn't work out quite to plan. However...
Well, you've been a princess in other forms. You're a princess to me.
I was a fairy in a pantomime back in 2000 and I want to say 13. Yeah, back in 2012 or 13, and I loved it. One of my favourite jobs.
And I'm going to really embarrass you now. This is not a pantomime, I don't think. What are you dressed in? I think you're a prawn, aren't you?
I think we should wait. I think we should get people to have a guess of what they think I'm wearing.
Okay, yeah.
And what they think this character is.
That's a very good plan. What do you think Jenna is dressed as in this costume?
I don't think it's perfectly clear.
I think it's a prawn. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
So what was one of your first jobs out of...
My very, very first job out of drama school was the beautiful game back in 2000. So I did my showcase at the end of you do it at the end of a termite. Oh, sorry, I'm just a turkey. A bug of something from Star Wars.
That's my mum.
Love that. I'm so excited to tell you what it is in a minute. So at the end, sort of midway through your final year of drama school, you do a showcase where you get to perform in front of agents and casting directors. That's hopefully where you find your agent. And David Grimrod, who people might know because I think he was on-screen judge for the Nancy.
Oh yeah, the
Oliver version of the How Do You Solve a Problem show.
Yeah.
And he happened to be in watching our showcase, and it's a right place at the right time. Andrew Lloyd Webber and Ben Elton had written a musical where they were looking for quote unquote real people. I often get seen for shows which require real people. Like my current show now, real people shows, and I was leaving drama school at the right time, and they were looking for a young cast, real-looking people. And I got an audition from my showcase, and I had 5 more auditions. I actually had some people in my year who were auditioning for it as well. One of them, Paul, had 10 auditions.
Oh my goodness.
Sadly, it didn't go his way. Sorry, I've just seen. I must remember this person's name because they guessed it. It can, and that can often happen. You can have many auditions and it doesn't go your way. Luckily for me, it did. And I remember my agent called me. I saw a missed call from my agent when I was working in The Gap on Guildford High Street. And I ran into the stockroom trying to call her back. She was on another call. She'll call me back. And we went backwards and forwards. Anyway, eventually I went on a break and I think I was sat in the Castle Gardens. I think Guildford Castle grounds. I'm sure that's what it was, at the back of the High Street.
Okay.
And I finally managed to get hold of her. And she told me that I got the part, I got the job. I was ensemble and first cover Christine. That was my very, very first job. It was very, very exciting.
I bet. Right, we're going to have to see. So, my friend Dominique in Canada, very specific Canadian thing, a wood tick. We've got a pink fluffy sheep, a shrimp, a flamingo, a pig, something from Star Wars, termite, turkey. Someone has got the correct answer, and
yes,
I think it's hilarious they have. What were you dressed as?
Christina, you were correct. That is in fact a pink sheep.
Sure.
I am the sole surviving pink sheep from the flock of pink sheep in Candide.
I mean, it's not a sheep, is it? It's not a sheep.
That's a sheep. That is a sheep. I'm sad that you can't clearly get it from the horns and the...
It's a shrimp. It's a shrimp.
Piece.
I know.
But yes, I know, it's true. That's what it looks like to me. But yes, I went to Nancy in, I have to get this right, northeast France.
Yep.
Gosh, back in 2014, I want to say. And was the opera company there did Candide, the opera, and they employed a couple of British actors to be the comedians of the piece.
Yeah.
Myself and a man.
Of course.
And I ended up being this pink sheep because, and ironically, training at GSA, it's funny to say this because we weren't known, I think it's different now, but we weren't known as dancers.
Right.
But the reason that I got this job is because, quite contrarily, contrary?
Quite unusually.
Yeah, let's go with that word. For my physique, I'm a good mover.
You are.
And they needed someone that could be, as well as being a comedian and an actor, who could also move very well. And yeah, that's how I landed that joy of a role.
There's someone, Hannah, I think knows you, has worked on you with you on something. Says, as a costume person, I would never have guessed a sheep. No, no one would. No one would.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. It was me and I want to say 6 dancers, all dressed the same.
Ridiculous.
This is exactly what you want.
Exactly.
6 20-year-old dancers all dressed like you. I'm the only one that lived. They all died. So.
Oh, well, yay! The comedy person, yeah, stays alive. And one of the things you worked on was Acorn Antiques as well, wasn't it? The stage show. I don't think I've got a picture of that, unfortunately. But that was a bit of a big deal, wasn't it? Acorn Antiques with Julie Walters and
back in the day.
Yeah.
It does feel like it feels like a lifetime ago. I was 24. What?
You're only 27 now, darling.
I know, it was like three short years ago. It was. I remember when I auditioned for it. Please, nobody judge me. I'd sort of heard Acorn Antiques. I'd heard that title.
Yeah.
Obviously, I knew who Victoria Wood was. I knew who Julie Walters was, and I was like, oh, okay. And my agent put me up for it, and I hadn't worked at this point for a long time. So I'd done the Beautiful Game at Drama School. Then I did a terrible but brilliant for me TV show for a little while, and then after that, I didn't work for it was 2 years and 11 months to the day, and I got a little job in a little role in Casualty. And then straight after that, I remember not being back from Bristol because that's where they filmed it back then. They still filmed in Bristol. I got this job, audition, through this Acorn Antiques. And I went along and I was like, oh, this is fun. And I didn't really know about it, but if my dogs start barking, I'm so sorry if they've just run out of the room.
Don't worry.
It means they're going to start making racket. But I remember when I got it, and I tend not to tell people when I have auditions because I can't bear the, have you heard? Have you heard? It's like, if I've heard, I'll tell you I've heard. Otherwise, I'm just dying inside waiting to know. And I remember telling a few people that I got it and them going, oh my God, I desperately wanted to get an audition. You couldn't get an audition for that. And I was like, oh, really?
Wow.
I didn't really know much about it. So I remember going home. I went to H&M. No, HMV.
Oh.
Bought the video, the VHS. I'm absolutely sure I bought VHS for it. And put it on, and I was like, this is weird, this ain't what? Didn't quite get it. Like, Acorn Antiques, what? This is odd, watching it, thinking it's quite funny, it's going a bit wrong. Because I didn't watch the whole of the sort of Victoria Wood series. And by the end, I was like, oh, I see.
Yeah.
And then, started rehearsals for it and did the show. And it was quite astounding for a young 24-year-old just being on stage at the same time as Celia Imrie, Duncan Preston, Julie Walters, Sally-Ann Triplett, who's a legend. I just remember being like, can you see who they are, audience? Yeah, look at them. It was quite incredible.
Hannah says that's the only show to have a working stand stairlift on stage.
That's probably very true. I can't think of another one.
And so when you're doing all these auditions and everything, it must be kind of a bit something I never quite understand about theatre and how you can deal
with the masochism of it all.
Constant rejection, yeah.
That's it. I mean, I think most people would agree with me. The people that are least mentally capable of being actors are actors. We are not designed to do the job that we choose to do. We're far too sensitive. Saying that, though, I actually don't think that's true, really. I think deep down, there is a core strength that you kind of have to have, because I don't know how else you'd pick yourself up.
Yeah.
Do it again and again.
It must just be fairly, unrelenting until, of course, you get to a point where your name is known. You don't really need to do that. But that's like way.
I mean, I've been doing this job for 20 years, and I have to audition for everything I do.
Yeah.
And first round, I still have to go in with my own song and sing that. I have quite a few friends who no longer have to do that. They just get sent material. That's great. But I still, 20 years down the line, still go in and sing my own song. However,
What songs do you sing?
I have, you can't see it, and I daren't touch this in case it falls and it all goes to hell. I have an entire shelf full of music up there. My bottom cupboard down there, I've got a whole shelf full of music, and I sing the same, 5 songs.
Brilliant.
2 of which I've been singing since drama school.
Amazing.
I sing 50% from, I think it's Ballroom, I want to say. You Can Always Count on Me.
Okay.
From City of Angels. They're my go-to. I now sing Meadowlark, the whole thing, all 16 pages. Because I kind of think at 20 years of auditioning, you're still making me do my first round stuff. At least let me sing a really good song. And that's one of my favourites. It's what I sang for Come From Away.
Is it? Now we should
It's definitely what got me the job.
I just want to mention a little bit of Come From Away. So this is you in Come From Away. Where is you in Come From Away? Here is you in Come From Away.
Oh, I
love this picture. I love this picture. And I remember, because I've seen it twice with you in now, and I remember the first time I saw it, and I was blown away, because it is, anyone who's seen it will know it's an incredible musical. And I remember, sort of 3 days after I'd seen it, texting you and being like, right, so, and you were laughing at me, because I was obviously been thinking about it for ages, and I just thought that your character, whilst your character isn't the sort of, the headline character, your character is the heart that runs through the whole show. You're kind of the mother figure, and it was wonderful to see you do that.
Thank you. It's very different. It's a very different to parts that I played before. Actually, I think I'm fairly lucky in the sense being a character actress. When you were at drama school, I was told I would always be typecast.
Yeah.
I'd be typecast as a character actress. Oh, hi, Dev. Sorry, someone just... Hi, Dev. That's my cousin.
Oh, hi, Dev.
I'm going to give her a little wave there. She just popped up. Hey. Yeah, I got told at drama school I'd be typecast. And actually, I've never played the same part twice, I don't think. And I certainly... I can't... Nothing springs to mind. I mean, I'm playing... I'm just going
to run through a couple of pictures to show the different kind of parts that you have played, to show that you don't do the same things all the time.
Okay, here's the fairy.
Here's the fairy.
That's the fairy. The she.
There's you in Sister Act.
No, Sound of Music.
Sound of Music, sorry, not Sister Act.
Sound of Music. Didn't get Sister Act. Didn't get it.
Hang on, there's this one here, which is...
So corny, that is, that one with the horns is in, I Can't Sing.
I Can't Sing, yeah. And then there's this one as well.
Stepping Out, that was good.
Stepping Out. And then there's also this one as well, which I think is wonderful.
That's Mrs. Hotchog with that's my theatre husband, Mr. James Gant. We've been married twice. You probably won't recognise him, but the Oliver picture that you showed, he was my husband there, Mr. Bumble.
The Oliver picture, this one here.
Yeah, there he is. There we are, married twice. And weirdly, they were back-to-back jobs. So I was married to him for 2 years.
That's there as well, is it?
Yeah, same man. Yeah.
That's lovely. And Come From Away is particularly interesting because it is based on real, a real life...
Absolutely, real life events. It's not. Yeah. It is the story of a real life situation. Oh, look! It's the real Beulah's.
The real Beulah. Yeah.
So my character.
So people don't know the story of Come From Away, and to explain it as a musical, it sounds really macabre and really. You think, oh, that's not going to be fun at all. But it's based around 9/11, about when the airspaces were closed and all these planes had to land in the middle of nowhere in Canada, and it's about the community that rallies around to help them, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd never even heard of Gander prior to. How do you deal with doing the same thing every evening? Oh, I'll tell you in a minute. Yeah, I'd never heard of Gander. I'd never even heard of this event occurring until I started when I started rehearsals and we started learning all about the show.
Yeah.
But my character, who I play quite a few different characters in Come From Away, but the main character I play is a character called Beulah Davis. Now you can see on the screen there's me with two ladies. The one on, as I'm looking at the screen, the one on my left is a lady called Diane Davis, which is the Beulah Davis part. And the other lady is called Beulah Cooper, because a lot of the characters in Come From Away are like an amalgamation of two different people, because there were so many people involved. We can't tell the story of the thousands of people that were, thousands of people that were there. So we do have to sort of bring them together to tell as many stories as possible. So,
and this, when they did, isn't it? They came over from Canada.
They go and see all of the opening nights. So they not only did they come and see us in Dublin, they came to see us again in London. Then when Australia opened, they went over to Australia. They are well travelled. They've been to New York. They go and see the tour. They are not only are they the nicest people, they are such champions of the show.
Yeah,
they really believe in it, that they feel very proud of it, that there's never a moment where when they watched it originally that they felt that the writers had done them a disservice. Because all the show is taken from interviews, so a lot of it's verbatim. So they really do feel very proud that their story is being
told. And they all meet up, don't they? The actual people involved in the story, they meet up on a basis, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Well, because a lot of them live around the corner from each other.
I mean, the people kind of fly back in, the people from New York.
Oh, yes.
Don't they?
Yes, they do. I saw a woman who came to see the show recently from Birmingham who was one of the playing people, and she had not long got back from going to Gander and having a visit and seeing people again. And they're in touch a lot. Obviously, social media has changed everything. People are really able to stay in contact now. I hear from Diane on a regular basis. She's like sister from another mister. We're very, very similar people. And I hear from Beulah as well. But yeah, they really do keep in touch with everybody. Not just the people that play them all over the world now, but also the people that stayed in their homes.
Yeah. It's gorgeous, isn't it? I think you said like every 10 years they've obviously done one 10 years, so 10 year.
Yeah, they had a 10-year anniversary, which is where our writers went to do the interviews. And they thought they'd be there. I believe the story is they thought they'd be there for about 4 days and ended up staying for about 3 months. Hours, hundreds and hundreds of hours of interviews, which I actually have the transcripts of. That we were giving them for research purposes. It was fantastic.
That's incredible. So Katie's asking, how do you deal with doing the same thing every evening? The chef, by the way, Come From Away was amazing, which she's very
thank you. It's so weird because it never feels the same. I know that it is identical. Every single day is identical, but it never feels the same for me. Every day that we start the show, and I always think, right, today I'm going to make this the best one ever.
Yeah.
Every single day I think that. Every single show I think has to be the best. And I'm always striving to find perfection, which, by the way, I never have. It's never been perfect. There's always a bit that could be better. There's always a bit that I could have done differently. So I'm always looking for that absolute perfection. And I probably will never find it, but that's what keeps you going, I think.
Sarah Barris asked, do you have a favourite theatre and have you seen any ghosts?
I have never seen any ghosts personally, thank God, because I would not be cool about it. I would freak out. There was a picture going around on Facebook today, actually. Someone took a picture of a theatre ghost. I can't remember what theatre they said it was in, one of the ones in London. Even looking at it, I was like, no, turn it off. But when I was at the Haymarket Theatre doing Avon Antiques, one of the dressers had an experience with a ghost and was so terrified they had to send her home. She'd gone upstairs. She was Julie Walters' dresser. Her name's Gus. And she'd gone upstairs to get something for Julie. She came back downstairs. The stage level dressing room was occupied by the 3 older women of the company. Jill Martin, who sadly is no longer with us, she was an absolute legend. She was oh, what's that woman's name who was the original Maria in Sound of Music in the film? Help me out here, Julie Andrews. Thank you. She was
Jenna.
Jill Martin. I know it's gone. It's old age. Jill Martin was Julie Andrews' understudy in My Fair Lady. I mean, she was a legend.
Wow.
But also in that dressing room was a woman called Myra Sands. Now, as Gus came down the stairs past the dressing room, Myra quite obviously locked herself in this dressing room. She's rattling the door, and Gus was shouting, "Myra, get up! Myra, let go of the handle. Back up!" So Myra lets go of the handle. Gus opens the dressing room, and there's nobody in there. She was like, and she had to go home. She was absolutely terrified.
Oh my goodness.
But that also coincides with, I think the Haymarket's the most beautiful theatre I've worked at. But for me, as excitement goes, there's something about the Palladium, which just gives me chills. It's absolutely beautiful. Oh, and I love the Phoenix, by the way. I'm not being disloyal, but Palladium for me is
where I come from ways on, isn't it, Phoenix?
The Phoenix is where I come from ways on, yeah. But Winning the Willows,
it's got an awful lot of history there. You know, the Beatles played that. There's a huge amount of history in there. So
oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, they used to have the line from the London Palladium and the on the weekends, and that was once. Yeah, so it's a lot of history at the Palladium. Now I have to put you slightly on the spot here. My friend Danny, who is Canadian.
I just saw that, and I was hopeful that nobody else would see it. So I was like, scroll. No. Let me tell you something funny. We won Best New Musical at the Olivier's in 2019. And because of that,
as if by magic.
oh no!
Look at you.
You see in the background over my actually it's over my right shoulder but left as we look at it. My castmate and friend Harry Morrison's photobombing me. My one time standing on a red carpet in my beautiful frock, and he thought he'd photobomb me. Thanks, Harry. He plays Oz in Come From Away. But because we won it, we were asked to announce when the following year's Olivier's would be. Obviously, it didn't happen this year because of the health crisis. Instead, they put on the most beautiful programme about all the past winners, and I thought it was beautiful. I cried a lot. But if anyone finds that, they will see that, in fact, we can't do a Newfoundland accent. We can only do a Newfoundland accent of the words that we have been taught to do in a Newfoundland accent. And we all did a not great Irish.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's true. It's like, oh, no, we can't do this accent. It's like we've been taught how to sing a song. The tune goes with these words, and I can't sing the tune to, I don't know, Come Fly With Me, to the words that I'm just speaking now. So it's very hard.
Ingrained.
To do a Newfoundland accent. Let me see. Can you?
So, Danny, no.
I don't even know if I can, Danny. I genuinely don't know if I can. Can you give us an example of your Newfoundland accent? That to me just now sounds Irish. So no, Danny.
No, Danny. Sorry.
Sorry, Danny.
You have to come watch the show, Danny.
Yeah, come and watch the show.
Now, before we end, I was asking you kind of what your highlight has been.
That was my sister. I'm waving to my sister.
Hello, sister. And Danny says neither can he. He can't do what I do. And I was asking what your highlight had been, and you said that because you were in a film, and that was your real, you loved it, didn't you?
Oh, the Les Mis movie, I'm not sure will ever be beaten as far. Oh, there I am. Look, as far as jobs goes.
Vanessa said, Jenna is so lovely. She's such an awful.
Oh, Vanessa. Oh, let me tell you. Aside from acting, when I'm not acting and I'm in between work, I dress at the Royal Opera House.
Yeah.
It's the only other job that I've ever had that I like, and I love it there, and genuinely miss being there. And Vanessa is one of the insanely talented women that are in the opera chorus.
Wow.
Their voices.
I talked a bit about
insane.
Yesterday when I was talking about Margot Fontaine in that one. So if you want to look a little bit about Royal Opera House, it was a very quick picture and more about the ballet, then have a look at yesterday's talk. But yeah,
and Vanessa's one of the incredibly talented women that works in the opera chorus and is in Bay 2. Yay! And I dress them when I'm unemployed. Sorry, you asked me a question and then I saw Vanessa.
It was about the best thing you've ever done.
Film. When I was a child, I used to watch. We didn't go to the theatre that often, maybe to see the panto, as I'd said. the musicals that I saw were film musicals. And so I genuinely believed that when I grew up and I was going to be an actress in a musical, it would be in films.
Yeah.
You see? And they'd still be making all of those huge movie musicals that, you know, they made back in the day. Obviously, that is not the case. But I was in the Les Mis musical. So for me, that literally was a dream come true. And it was everything that I thought it would be. And
Was it?
Yeah, it was amazing. I had the best
experience, I'd imagine, from theatre acting. Really quite a different type of...
Yeah, it is. But it's... For me, it's how it should be no matter what genre. And this is based in truth. Even when you're being funny, even when you're being a sheep or a hedgehog, always based in truth, always mean what you say. Never be doing it for laughs. And doing the film, you were just able to do it so naturally that for me that is how it should be. You didn't need to make it bigger. Obviously, when you take screen acting to stage acting, you do need to make it you need to make it bigger because the people are sitting far away. They don't have the luxury of the camera right here. So we had to take musical theatre and make it really natural. But for me, that was an absolute treat. Because it just felt when I watch it, for me, it is real. So I was able to perform it how I would have wanted. And
with that film, they absolutely stuffed it full of West End musical performers, didn't they, as well? They didn't...
Yeah, if you have a look at that picture...
There's so many people in it.
Behind Anne Hathaway, you've got Hannah Waddingham. By the way, my very first job was her understudy, hilariously.
Oh, really? Yes.
She's such a legend. Behind Hannah Waddingham, over her at the shoulder, is Caroline Sheen, for goodness sakes. Behind my shoulder, you've got Claire Foster. Somewhere in the background there is the absolute insanely talented... there she is. Let's me Kate Fleetwood.
Yeah.
She's there as well.
Right
Some incredible people.
And in the other side of this camera shot is Michael Gibson as well, who then went on
absolutely.
to I think win an Olivier for his portrayal of George III in Hamilton as well.
Absolutely, he did.
So I mean, it was chock full of who's who of musical theatre in the West End.
Absolutely,
which was a delight to watch, actually.
It was. Sorry, my phone is going off. I'm just trying to stop it doing its thing. Mike Gibson is absolutely incredible. Oh, and another person back there in the background who I think is utterly insanely talented, Kirsty Hoyles. You can't see her in this picture, but she's in that scene with me, and she is such a phenomenal actress and stunning.
Amazing.
As well, she's there as well. It was a who's who. It was incredible to be a part of.
Must have been a bit daunting for Anne Hathaway coming into that amazing pool of talent and being like, I'm the star?
Nah, not at all. She was gracious and humble and every bit the movie star. But not in a grand, hideous way. She just had such an air of grace about her that your eye really was drawn to her, I feel. And she's insanely beautiful.
My eye was drawn to you the entire time, Jenna, so...
Thanks!
So is there anything else that you wanted to kind of mention before we finish? Is there any other shows that you wanted particularly to kind of have a look at?
No, I think obviously Come From Away is probably the biggest.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest thing I've done to date. The Les Mis film is definitely my absolute highlight of my career.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll ever be beaten purely because Les Mis is my favourite musical, and like I said, I got to.
And you were in it on the stage as well, weren't you?
I was. It was the job I did directly. Oh look!
I have totally raided your Facebook for all these pictures.
Oh my goodness! So that wig, I'm obsessed with red hair. I've always wanted red hair, and I always feel like I was cheated because I've got the freckles and the green eyes, but I never got the red hair. So every time someone says, "Oh, I get a choice of wig colour," I'm like, "Make it red." I want ginger. I love ginger hair, so that was a long red wig. It was beautiful.
So I was asking, what role would you like to do?
All of them. All the roles. People ask me often, what's my dream part? And it's a weird thing because my dream part probably hasn't been written yet. Because at the moment, Beulah's my dream role, and I didn't know it existed until, 2.5 years ago when I started when I started auditioning. I didn't know it existed. So for me, my dream role probably hasn't been written yet. It's just the next part that I play.
That's so lovely.
They're all important to me.
And we will see you back and come from away. It will return at some point.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, it will. And also, you did the video a couple of nights ago, and they did a big video, didn't they, of Elena's song with loads of performers all doing chipping in, and I saw you in that as well.
When I watched it, I sobbed and sobbed. When I was recording it, I got goosebumps.
Oh.
That musical I think will always be my favourite show. What tips would you give future actors? Don't do it. Don't do it. And if like me, you have this disease and you have no choice, just believe that you can.
Yeah.
And don't let. I'll tell you one last thing. I'll tell you because I know you probably have to go. When I was at drama school, we had this funny lesson. I can't remember what it was about, but we had to go around in a circle and say what our ambition was. And my ambition was to play the lead in a new West End musical. And
wow.
Yeah, that was my ambition when I was 19 or whatever, to play a lead, not a lead, the lead in a brand new West End show, so one that hadn't been done before. I have not fulfilled that ambition.
You've got close.
I have come very close, but I was told by the teacher and by an awful lot of the people in that class that I should lower my sights. Well, do not lower your sights. Yeah. Always strive. And I was told, because you'll be disappointed. I was like, no, because you just keep going for it. You just keep trying for it. It gives you motivation. How boring to get everything you ever wanted when you were 20.
Yeah.
Because the journey that you have on the way, the last 20 years, I wouldn't swap for playing a lead, the lead in a new show at 20 and then never ever peaking again.
Yeah.
Because you miss out on the journey, and that's the best bit.
What a journey.
It's been amazing.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on and chatting.
No, thank you so much, and thank you for all your lovely questions.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Fabulous questions. I'm going to be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock with the lovely Lee Ingleby, who's going to be talking about film and TV. And then the following day is my friend Simon coming back to talk about historic theatres, most of which Jenna will have performed in. Going to talk a bit about that. Keeping our arts and theatre, or film and theatre week going until Saturday. So there we go. Thank you so much, Jenna. It's been lovely.
Thank you so much, Alex, for having me on. It's been an absolute treat. I'm glad my dogs didn't start yelling and screaming halfway through.
Exactly. Spoonsy the woo.
Yeah, Spoonsy the woo. I'm just going to say one big love to Esme before I go.
Big love to Esme. Yay. Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you all at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Take care.
You will see me. I'll come in to watch you tomorrow.
Yeah.